Hi, and welcome to Girl Talk. I am here today at the Hilton Head Capital Partner Building with my friend, Bruce Wood. Good to see you.
Good morning.
And today we're changing the format of the program for everyone. We're having breakfast with Bruce. We've been eating muffins, we've been chatting, and we have a whole show with you today, and I'm really excited about that, Bruce. And one of the things that we've been doing, we've been here for about 30 minutes looking at the office, which is pretty amazing, and every office has a bit of a story that goes with it. And I thought it might be fun, basically because you gave me a book that I'm really excited about reading called The Splendid and the Vile, to chat a little bit about other things that you do in your life. And let's talk about reading right now, because we were just talking about what our favorite books are. And I had to laugh as you're sharing with me, and I'm going to have you share with our viewers some of your favorite books. I just laugh at the differences in people. My favorite book is called The Anatomy of Peace. Right?
That would be a good one.
Right? And you're like, ugh.
No.
But anyway, talk a little bit about your interest in reading. It's kind of what you do for fun, isn't it?
Actually, I wish I could do more of it because I love what I do as an advisor. And so that takes up all my time, followed by, obviously, this is Car Central in Hilton Head. We have so many wonderful car events here. It's amazing. You never seem to run out of them.
How did you even get involved in cars? And I have to tell you that every time we talk together, I get a present of magazines that are car magazines that my entire family, my dad before he passed away was obsessed with it.
Yes.
Then it went to my husband, then it went to my son. So they go all over.
Yes.
So we thank you for that.
Oh, it's great. He was excited to see those Mercedes-Benz and Porsche and Ferrari magazines.
Exactly.
That's true.
Well, how'd you get into cars?
Well, actually, it was through a dear friend and client of mine in Hendersonville, North Carolina, Hewlin McCraw. I did a seminar, and he was there, and that's how I met him. And he was into cars, and what guy isn't into cars, pretty much.
I was just gonna say, good point.
Yeah. So, but he had a car collection, and I was enamored with that, and so I found one of my clients passed away in Richmond, and his wife called me up and said, "I've got a car in the barn. Would you like it?" And she lived next door to Jimmy Dean.
Oh, that's funny.
And Paula. And so I went down there, and in the barn was a 1967 Mercedes Roadster. I may have mentioned that in the past. And so I bought the car, and it was a total wreck.
Okay.
And so slowly we, found parts for it and got it running, and so on and so forth. And then when I came down here to Car Central, then expanded with that.
This is a silly question, but all at once I'm wondering, what is it about cars? Is it the putting them back to their original state? Is it the driving? Is it just how they've evolved? What is fascinating for you?
It was always, how could I get a beautiful woman to go out with me?
Well, sometimes you just don't expect these answers.
Or a talented woman, or any woman.
Or any woman. There you go. I love it. Well, there's nothing
Most of
better.
them run like scalded dogs.
Stop it. Now, there's nothing like looking at a beautiful, vintage car going by.
Cars are designed for different cars, like the French. There was a time when French cars were absolutely so elegant. The German cars, you can see that muscular thing. And American cars, they were kind of in the middle.
Okay.
All right, very utilitarian, because of our roads and our lifestyle. So I think it's evolved now, and women they love cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
They love them.
I love going to the Concours Elegance every year. I look forward to it, and I learn so much about it, and I know you've always been heavily involved in that, too.
Yes. And the Women Driving Americas is a very important part of that. I mentioned that at our last meeting.
Well, what's really interesting is the correlation to me between history, cars, and the books that you're reading now. The book you gave me is about Winston Churchill, correct?
It is. It's the best book I've ever read on Winston Churchill.
Talk me through that a little bit.
Well, it's because it does cover a short period of time, which is always great because it's so much more interesting
Sure.
as opposed to a broad stroke.
Right. I agree with that.
And this was given to me by one of my clients,
Mm-hmm.
said it was the finest book he's ever read. And I think what makes it very unique and very personal
Mm-hmm.
is not the war for that period of time from 1939 until Pearl Harbor, where British stood alone, the English
Right.
stood alone. He was dynamic, but the book is not really about him. It is, but it's not.
Right.
It's actually about the people who surrounded him through their diaries. So
I think
you
this would be
learn
great.
so much more about really him and how he interacted with people and the small things that he did. But more interesting than that are what the people that surrounded him did.
Right, exactly. What their lives
Especially
were
the
like.
women.
Yeah, their lived experiences, which is
And
really
the
interesting.
women and their diaries are phenomenal.
Oh, I think that what a rich history, a rich experience.
Yes.
I really appreciate that. We're going to take a break.
Okay.
We're going to come back, and I think I have a plethora of questions for you. So stay with us,
Okay.
please. You all stay with us. We'll be right back here on Girl Talk.